you do not understand the difference between good and evil, you're part of the problem. There is no room for complacency in this battle that we're in, okay? There's no room for complacency. You have to understand what you believe and why you believe it, and leverage and use your voice. What is your voice? Your voice is your ability to vote, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Steven and Kori's Get It Together Together. I'm Steven
and I'm Kori.
Oh, my sidekick. Love her. If you don't know this, we've been married for 40 years this year. Been together for 42 years. So anyway, we're going to dive back into the Declaration of Independence. We've been doing some shows because we're in an election cycle here in the United States.
And we're diving into them because a lot of what you believe in your marriage, hopefully your values match each other.
Yeah.
And since we're in an election cycle, we meet a lot of couples. Well, not a lot, but we meet a few couples who have totally different perspectives on their political values or political stands. And we ask them, how do you two even work out what you're going to do in life? And how are you two going to raise kids? And they don't know. They say, we don't want to talk about it. We don't even talk about it. But literally, you're going to find out, again, this is our third episode, but they're going to find out that it has a lot to do with your lifestyle, depending on if you even know the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all those things.
Exactly. And again, we come back to a standard, right? The Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution is a standard that you can live your life around it. I'm going to begin by reading back through a portion of the Declaration of Independence. We're just going to kind of dive into this and we're going to break it apart. So it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident. It's a good word, self-evident, right? That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, right? Liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's okay for you to pursue happiness in your life.
Yes.
You know?
You don't need the conflict. You don't need the raids and the riots and the tensions and the hate. You should be living in happiness. That's the goal.
Absolutely. Okay. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Here's what that basically says in a nutshell. You have power, ladies and gentlemen. Right?
That's right. That's right. Yes. So we picked up from there because we discussed that in episode 2 of this politics and marriage.
That's right.
And so we're going to go a little bit further because it's important for you to understand, again, if you are a U.S. citizen and you don't understand your rights in the Declaration of Independence, in the U.S. Constitution, then you don't understand how you could, with the lifestyle that you could live and the lifestyle that you could have with your family.
That's right. And by the way, if you are a couple and you have kids, it's your duty to know these things
and teach them.
And it's your duty to teach this to your kids.
Because the benefits that you have in this country are not everywhere else.
Absolutely.
You from other countries, people who are watching this from other countries, let them know that I don't know if you have a Bill of Rights or something similar to that, or a Declaration of Independence, or a Constitution for your country.
Exactly.
But if you do not, please put in the comments below so U.S. citizens can understand the beauty and the benefits that they have. We're going to go a little bit further now into the Declaration of Independence and talk about the next section. And that is that whenever any form of government becomes destructive.
Destructive. Okay.
Of these ends, what ends? The ends of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
If it's destroying that, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
And who are the people? You.
We are the people.
We are the people.
And we have a right to alter it or abolish it.
Yes.
And to institute a new government.
Right.
You can literally, we as the people can say, we don't want this the way this government is right now because it is not giving us the pursuit of happiness, life, and liberty.
Exactly.
Laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form, which form? the form of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
As to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. That's what you're trying to get back to,
Right.
the safety and happiness. If we don't find that in America, it's our job as the citizens,
Exactly.
as the Americans, to say, let's abolish this government or let's alter this government so it brings us back to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely. That's good.
Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. What's that mean? We're not going to change the government for light causes.
Some little patty cake type thing.
Yeah, something petty, something that's not going to shake our foundation of the country. We're not going to change government for that. Right. And it actually says that in our Declaration of Independence. And accordingly, all experience that has shown that mankind are more disposed, listen to this, mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
Okay, hold on. We have to, we need to really dissect this.
Okay.
I mean, if you just look at the words, it talks about the fact that men are willing to suffer.
And wait, suffer while evils are sufferable. They're saying while evils are sufferable, it's easier for them to deal with that than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was 1776.
And where did they get that from? Because they came from England and they
came from tyranny.
They came from suffering. And they were willing to live with that as opposed to going to what they would prefer.
Yeah.
They were willing to live with that and make them become more accustomed to it, more willing to do that, as opposed to pushing forward so that you can have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
That's why we want to deconstruct this, because again, if you don't know that these are your rights, and if you don't understand the cause and all these things and why the Declaration was implemented, you don't understand really what's going on.
We have people in certain parts of this country who are suffering right now.
Right.
Suffering due to the policies that have been put in place, or not even policies. The government has just allowed things to happen without even going back to the Declaration of Independence.
We have a government right now that is lying to us, about a lot of different things.
And instead of pursuing life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and these are not light causes, by the way. These are not light. This is the time to be able to stand up and say, I will no longer suffer for evil. I will no longer live with evil and cause it.
Say that.
Instead, I have the right ourselves, all of us have the right by abolishing the forms to which we are accustomed. We can abolish the form. What is the form? Evil, the suffering. We can abolish that because we're so accustomed to it.
Right.
It's like the dog on the porch. Talk about that.
Yeah, a little dog on the porch. This guy walks in his neighborhood every day, and he happens to see this dog laying on this porch. And every now and then, the dog just raises up, woo, makes a little noise, and then he goes away. And finally, one day, after many times walking back, seeing the dog do this, the guy saw the owner of the dog sitting on the porch, and he said, "Sir, every time I come by here, I see your dog. It makes a little howl from time to time." He says, "You know what? He's sitting on a nail, okay? And it's not hurting him enough to get up off of it. It just hurts him enough to make a little noise every now and then."
Yeah, and that's
so we're sitting on a nail somewhere here.
Yeah. And are we going to just deal with that and deal with the suffering?
Yeah.
Or are we going to say, no, we're not going to be accustomed to suffering.
That's right.
We're going to change our government. We're going to vote properly. And we said last show, how do you change your government? You change your vote, because they are hired by you. That vote hires them. You
have the power and the ability, to fire your representatives who are supposed to be giving your voice and your opinion.
And here's the problem. So many people are comfortable, and you know what they do? They're too lazy to research the other person that's running against the person that's there.
That's right.
If you have a congressman and he's not doing what you want him to do, you might not even know. Be in tune. Know how your congressman is voting.
Absolutely.
Know if he's speaking on your behalf. Know if your senator is speaking on your behalf.
Exactly.
Know if your school superintendent, all the way down to your local community, know what they're speaking about, because they dictate your lifestyle. They dictate what goes on in your children's children's classroom. They dictate the food that you eat, the taxes that you pay. They dictate the gas that you're paying, all those things. And if they're voting for it to be increased, you need to know so that you can say, I'm not voting for that person again. Well, what's the other person? I don't know what the other person. Well, find out what the person that's running against them is running on. Are they running against this person because they're saying that they could do? And we all know people make promises and don't keep them.
That's right.
That's why you have elections, so you can fire them and say, okay, it's time for somebody else.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into something here. I want to dive into this one issue, and that is this, okay? We are not as divided as a people, okay, as the mainstream media wants you to believe, okay? Let me tell you something right now. Most people want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
We agree on that. We absolutely agree on that.
And here's the thing. What does that look like for each person? It could be different, but it's not that much different.
That is exactly correct.
Wanting life, that just means you want to live.
That is right.
Wanting pursuit of happiness, you're pursuing things that you enjoy.
Right.
Most people do not enjoy riots and killing each other.
That's right. And we are one race, by the way, folks. It's called the human race. It's called the human race. I tell you something, if I cut my finger, it's red. Okay? The blood that comes out of my finger is red. If you take another human being and cut their finger, what color do you think their blood is?
Red.
It's red. One race, people.
Right.
We are not as divided as a country, okay? Again, as the mainstream media would want you to think. The race baiting brokers are out there. You have to be able to see beyond that. And again, when you get into this Constitution wasn't written for a race of people. It was written for mankind.
That's right, right. And it's not just race nowadays. It's
gender.
Yeah, it's everything. It's any kind of preference that you have. They want to divide you.
Right.
And in most cases, I'm telling you, people don't care.
That's right.
They don't care. They just want to live in a happy community.
That's right.
So we have the evils that it talks about there who are trying to destroy our nation.
That's right.
And it's up to us, the people of this country, to tell those evils, you are not allowed to destroy our country.
That's right.
You must go.
You know, absolutely. She's on a roll here, right? So again, what do you believe and why do you believe it? And do you understand that you have the power within you? It was a God-given power, okay? Well, again, unalienable rights. We should probably look that up. If you don't understand that word, look it up.
Yeah.
And again, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, this is a standard in which you can live your life by. So if we're talking to couples, okay, we're telling you that you might be at odds, but what you want to come back to, what you want to rally around is what is the standard, okay? And what is the vision that you have for your life and for your marriage together and then for your family, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to share with you, we wanted to share with you that this is part 3. And you are seeing vignettes of different things that are political, but it's for the season that we're in right now. We are get it together, and that's part of getting it together. Together is understanding what you stand for. And you don't want to be at odds with your spouse or your partner. That's the last thing you want to do. Work out your differences through the Constitution, through the Declaration of Independence, because you'll find that you are agreeing more upon more things than you disagree upon, especially as a couple. And if you're young married or if you're engaged, have this conversation before you get married so that you know where you're at. Because every 4 years this comes up in our country. And if you're an American and you're dating or you're engaged, you're going to have this conversation every 4 years. And you may say, we don't talk about those things. You should, because again, this is your basic right as an American.
You know, there's good and there's evil. Okay. And the reality is that tyranny is rooted in evil.
Yeah.
Tyranny is rooted in evil. And the reality is, if you do not understand the difference between good and evil, you're part of the problem. There is no room for complacency in this battle that we are in. Okay. There's no room for complacency. You have to understand what you believe and why you believe it, and leverage and use your voice. What is your voice? Your voice is your ability to vote, okay? And when we talk about voting, there's another issue that's at play here. No one, unless they are a United States citizen, should be voting in this election.
Yes, that's true. I want to read to you a little bit more of the Declaration of Independence. after where we just picked up from, because
Sure.
it is so vital to what we were just talking about. Okay. So we finished with, remember, the evils are sufferable, then to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. So we have to be strong enough to abolish the forms of evil that we're accustomed to. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations is designed to reduce them under absolute disposition, it is their right. So in other words, when you are so constantly being abused and usurped upon with these objects, meaning the evil and all the things that you
You become desensitized.
do not want, it is their right and is their duty. Think about that. It's your duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. That's interesting. Throw off the old government and provide new guards for their future security. Whose future security? Ours. So you don't get,
yours.
You don't get so comfortable with this long train of abuse and usurpations. You're usurping your power to them.
That's
You're
right.
giving it over to them.
That's right.
You have to understand that you have the right and the duty.
You have the right and the duty
to throw off such government.
Yes.
So we have that.
I know.
And people don't understand. Wait a minute. I have a right and a duty
And a
to
duty.
my country.
Right.
I mean, this is my foundation. This is what they fought for, so that we have rights and duties to throw off old guards and put in new guards. So I just wanted to share that too, because
That's good.
That's such an important role in what we're talking about. How if you're not happy what's going on, you have a right and a duty. And how do you do that? Voting, speaking at your school board, going and meeting your congressman. It's okay to go and meet them.
That's right.
And shake their hand and look at them in the eye and say, you work for me, Senator. You work for me, Congressman. You work for me, Governor, Mayor, all the people that are around your community who are working for you.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Again, this is part 3. If you haven't seen part 2 and part 1, we're just reading the Declaration of Independence. And part 1, we also read the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy those. And again, if you're an American citizen, you should have these things.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope you're getting
things.
Excited, so you're gonna be able to go out and vote.
Yeah.
Vote.
Yes, but know what you're voting for.
Exactly.
And who you're voting for.
That's right.
Okay. Have a blessed week, and we will talk to you next time on Get It Together Together.
Take care. Until next time. We'll see you.